Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Let's get ready to be at our best now. Be at our best.
Yeah, it's going to be a boring one today.
Those guys don't all suck.
You son of a B!
ASAP, any score, any place, you know we bring well. We bout there. We'll pull up on anybody and get it done.
Suck it, Raiders.
He is dicked.
I love you, Dick, but
Joe, start fast.
They're the next team on our schedule, and we trying to do something big here. We trying to win a Super Bowl.
It's another beautiful day.
It is.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Wool Dog, sitting with Duggan brothers like Kev, Hug, and Duggan.
I'm never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
You can always
never
rely.
Gonna run away and desert you.
You can always rely on the Hug and Duggan, but let's not forget
Never
Kyle,
gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye.
Kyle, the coach Duggan.
Yes, I'm here as well. My brother's given up on football, and he's now moving into theater.
I'm rickrolling everything.
And he's just gonna rickroll everyone.
He's got more energy than I do, folks, because man, I am just
that's fake energy, dude.
That's fake.
I'm
yeah.
deflated.
There's
man.
nothing.
That's false.
I'm all out of my fake. I think I used that up last episode trying to pretend to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's another week, folks. We're what, 2-7?
It's another
now?
week, folks.
It's
That's
another
about all we
week.
can say is a week.
We made it
passed.
through another one, I guess.
Yeah,
Kinda.
it's another just it's a one-score loss. We never really had the lead to begin with. I mean, you could argue that we were never really in the game, and it certainly felt like that. So I don't know, something about this game just affected me more than the other games. The other games were at least exciting. This was just like what's
It was funny we were
next?
talking about this. Like we were talking about this. It's like this was easier for me because we were never in this game. Like from the first punt, we were never in this game. We were doing classic Charger shit. So
Yeah.
this was a lot easier for me to just kind of check out when the game was over. And I did just that.
Yeah, this was the first game where we got our butt handed to us. But we just played without any passion. It didn't seem like there was one guy, Denzel Perriman, because he was back at home in Miami.
He tried.
He came out and was hitting. He was trying to get the momentum going,
Right.
but there was just no energy. They all played the way I feel right now, and it was not easy to watch. Like all the other games, like we're winning, and we know that we're probably going to lose. But you still watch because you're like, we should win this game.
It's exciting. It's still exciting.
You know, like, it's still
I know that we've
engaging.
blown it. Yeah, we've blown it a lot. We're gonna somehow maybe this will happen.
Right.
But that game, I was like, I just don't really want to watch much right now. Like,
Right.
this sucks.
The excitement was rookie Herbert against rookie Tua. Who's going to come out on top? And it just
And they both just
Right.
And another week where I had to shut off the commentary because they were on that 2-a-D so hard on that commentary. It was just like so bad. I went into a playlist and was listening to music, and that was the only way I could deal with that.
There was one play where a ball Justin clearly threw away. And they go, that was a dangerous ball. I can't believe he that's a rookie mistake. And then the next series, the Tua's up, and he's getting hit, and he's like falling down and tries to throw it, and it bounces off like four guys, and they go, wow, what an athletic play by Tua. Holy, did you see that? I'm like, what are you talking about?
What passion?
Guys?
So dumb. What passion. What was it? The ESPN, he's got like legendary status. Like that's the one
sake.
thing that he has.
His
iconic
meter.
status. You can go
whatever. All right.
off.
Let's revisit this train wreck of a game here as we look at the game summary. Choo kaboom. On the opening drive, God bless, Chargers go 3 and out, and that's where we get a blocked punt from Ty Long. Miami scores like 4 seconds later, and they're up immediately 7-0. Like the wind is just out of the sails, like right out of the gate. Like we can't even get a first down, and we're already down 7 points. Like, oh man. So, and then later in the quarter, Miami gets himself another touchdown with a special teams mishap. That's all we'll say about that. But in the first quarter, Keenan Allen passed Charlie Joyner for second in Chargers all-time receptions at 587. We got that, right?
You're very glasses half full there, Wool Dog.
I'm trying. Second quarter gave us a little bit of a spark after there was a fumble. Nick Vigil scooped it up. Chargers trucked it down the field, and Herbert pulled a Mr. Fantastic and stretched his arms across to get the touchdown.
That was the quickest sneak I'd ever seen. Sorry to interrupt, but that was the fastest thing I've seen.
Yeah, and it gave me a little bit of hope because that was halfway through my bolt prediction. Never happened, but gave me a little bit of hope. Later in the quarter, Miami gets themselves another field goal, and the end of the half is 17-7, Miami up. Third quarter saw the best drive for the Chargers, going 68 yards and eventually a touchdown when Herbert connected with Hunter Henry. Scores looking 20-14 after Miami gets himself another field goal. Fourth quarter, Herbert throws an interception, which goes over like a lead balloon. Miami capitalizing on it after a failed 2-point conversion. The score is 26-14. Chargers go for it on a 4th and 1 later in the corner, and they fail. Turning the ball over on Towns. Miami increases their lead to 29-14, and after a late touchdown of Herbert to Keenan Allen and an unsuccessful onside kick, game's over 29-21. Like, that's what this game was. It was just like, all right, what's next? All right, what's next? What's next?
It's almost a weird thing too, where everyone says like we're losing all these 1-possession games. Like, dude, that was not. It says it was a 1-possession game. That was not a 1-possession game.
Right.
That did not feel like any of the other games we played. It was just super depressing.
I mean, what
it
can
was
you say
bad
about
all
it?
the way around.
Yeah.
And what? So I need to say something. I need to talk about something. I'm getting a lot of heat on social media. I feel like for
being a coach,
the way that I fandom, the way that I express my Chargers fandom. And I want to say, in the past, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Have I ever come out and said our coaches are awesome and they're doing everything perfect and I love them and we should not get rid of them? Has that kind of been my sentiment?
Yeah, I don't think you've ever been like all
not 100%
pro
that.
coach.
That last part where you say we should not get rid of them. I mean, we've been all of us, I think, have kind of been tooting that horn.
My intention and the way that I pose the other side of things is to just provide a different perspective, because it's very easy to say the coaches messed up and that's why we lost. And that's probably true a lot of the time. My whole goal in defending the coaching staff is so that we all take a step back and just maybe evenly distribute some of the blame.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't all have to be on one person why you lost a game. The Los Angeles Chargers, sorry, I almost said San Diego, are a football organization. They're a team from the top down, ownership, GM, head coach, coaching staff, starters, backups, and then our practice squatters. They all contributed to the loss. Now, however you want to divvy up that blame is fine. My point in most of this is just to provide a different perspective. Do I think our coaching staff is the best one in the league? No, I don't. Do I think there's going to be turnover this offseason? Yes, I do. But my goal is just to be able to provide a little perspective. And the way that I choose to show my fandom as a Charger fan, having been a Charger fan for I'm 30 years now, I guess you could say. I can't just throw a fit every time we lose a game because we lose most games. So right. I've developed coping mechanisms to not just throw my hands up and start raging on Twitter. Like I can't, that's not sustainable.
That's my job. That is my job. Yin to your yang.
I mean, because the other side of that coin is saying, well, the players are playing perfect and we shouldn't get rid of any of the players because they're doing a fantastic job, right? Like, which
no one would agree with.
No one would agree with. So that's the thing is like, there's issues everywhere and it's on both sides of the ball. And it's frustrating to see fans like turning on each other. Like, well, if you don't feel the way that I feel, then you're wrong. And then we're going to fight. And that's just not the case, guys. Like when we set out to make this podcast, we wanted to be the podcast that was a fan of the team, and we're not gonna just immediately turn on somebody and call for somebody's head on a stick or anything like that. Like it's we got to look at everything, and we try to be as non-biased about it as possible. But I mean, bottom line, we're fans, and we're just gonna be fans.
I want to jump in. Like I agree 100%. I finally feel confident. I haven't like called for anybody's head yet, but I want like immediate change or immediate adjustments to our special teams. Like I thought last week you couldn't get much worse than last week, and then they come out and do this and totally don't redeem themselves.
Shit the bed.
And it's unlike anything I've ever seen. And it's not just, it's not just penalties. It's missed assignments. It's missed this. It's missed that.
Right.
It's mental errors. It's the special teams, in my opinion, gave up that last game. Like you can say we want to distribute the wealth. You can say whatever you want about what happened with that game.
Right.
The biggest, most glaring thing that I saw was the special teams, and it's something that is the most consistent thing we're talking about. So
yeah, for sure.
I want a new special teams coordinator ASAP, because it can't get any worse. Whoever his assistant was, step him up, do something else, because I don't care about seniority at this point. We need something different, because it can't get. I thought it couldn't get any worse last week, and it got worse. It got even worse this week, and I can't do it anymore.
There's a couple of things that is kind of starting to bug me about Coach Lynn and some of his press conferences and the things that he's saying. It's starting to seem out of character, and I don't know if it's because he thinks he's on the hot seat, or if it's because we're having such a weird off year. But one of the quotes from one of his interviews today was, the Chargers coach Anthony Lynn says there were some guys out there today who won't be out there next week when asked about special teams blunders. So he's putting it on the players. As a head coach, that's just never what you do. You never go out and you call out and blame issues on the players solely. That's just not that, in my opinion, that's not what the leader does. You especially don't do that to the press, to the media, where it's going to get circulated. And I did see one other thing. This is kind of a reading a little bit too far into it. Kind of like what one of our Twitter reactions that we got from somebody was like, they saw Coach Lynn looking at his clipboard more last week. So was he taking? So this is a little bit like that, but I saw him. I was a timeout and Coach Lynn was coming onto the field, and somebody was coming off, and he was trying to talk to him, and that guy just kept on walking, didn't pay any attention. And it's just a sign that maybe he is starting to lose the locker room a little bit. And it may be, obviously you lose games, no one enjoys it.
Right.
But you can still maintain leadership and that respect from the team. And I'm not saying he has lost it. I'm just saying calling out guys and then having players walk past you as you're trying to coach them up or encourage them, or even if you're trying to pick them apart. If you're their coach and they respect you as their coach and they want to hear what you have to say, they're not going to walk away.
Right.
And if they do, then there better be a reprimand for it. So yeah, there's some little stuff, man, that showing some chinks in the armor. I don't know what it is. And obviously everyone's frustrated, but there are some signs here pointing in a weird direction for Coach Lynn.
I think it's fascinating too, because he did, went at the players this week, but he did the flip for the coaches. Daniel Popper tweeted that Anthony Lynn said special teams players are getting the right coaching but aren't executing. He said George Stewart doesn't go out there and punt protect.
Right.
Okay,
so he's calling out players.
He's just calling out players. Then
Right.
The coaches aren't doing anything wrong. They're not. Everything they're implementing is working perfectly. And I think that's just horseshit. I think
that's okay for me to say as a fan
Right.
that does a podcast and
Right.
I don't know what's going on.
Right.
But the fact that coach, he knows everything. He knows the ins and outs of every coaching decision, the way they're being coached, how they're executing, and he's straight calling out players, which, man, that's just, I don't know. It just, especially in today's game, these guys are not used to that. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
not to say that they're soft, but like they're just not used to being called out like that. I don't. It's just a weird situation.
Yeah. Well, nor should they be. The thing that strikes me kind of odd, and I don't know, this is just more of an observation than anything else. When Mike McCoy was our coach and we were losing, there was never any like you could look at the coach and you could see like he was just kind of defeated. I think there was a couple times when we were losing and Mike McCoy was the coach and he was like smiling or joking on the sideline, which was just like, that's not a good look. But but just never got heated, never got fired up. And the first couple of years that we had Anthony Lynn and we were winning, you see him get fired up. Like there's that infamous picture of Anthony Lynn. He's got his arms up like when we scored a touchdown or something. He's like, yeah. And he's getting fired up. But these losses, he looks so beaten as a coach, which I get it if you're a player because you're out there on the field and you're actually playing it. But when you see a coach look that defeated, it's like if they're looking to you for inspiration and you're just like a husk of a human being, like just with a headset on like that, it's hard to get pumped and rally back from that. Now, that's not to say that he's not doing it in the locker room. That's not to say that, you know, he's doing it when the cameras just aren't focused on him. But I also kind of want to see a little bit of anger from him on the sideline. Like I would kind of almost respect him a little bit more if there was a shot of him like ripping his headset off and throwing it on the ground, just going, just God damn it. Like just show me that you care. Don't just, I mean, you shrug my shoulders and I guess we'll move on to the next play. I guess you guys aren't doing it right out there. I told you to do it right and you're not doing it right. And I don't necessarily buy that either. Like that, it's the coach's job to know what all these players, like what they're good at, what they're not good at, what they're able to do, what they're able to retain. And you feel like they're making it as simple as possible based on some of the play calls that you've talked about in the past, Kyle. But they still can't freaking do it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's another little bit different perspective that I have as a high school coach versus these guys as NFL coaches. It's like, if you don't have the right personnel, go find the right personnel, like move them, and you need to make these decisions and put people in different spots and try something else. Like, as a high school coach, you have what you have and you got to make do with it. You know what I mean? So like, there's a kid that you don't have depth and you got to put a kid in there and there's no way around it. Like, yeah, I think that I do think that now I hope maybe this is me just being bummed as a fan, but it does appear that there are some chinks in the armor of our coaching staff as far as creativity and being just like making changes, making adjustments, putting people in the right spots.
Well, I want to go on that a little bit too. Like what's so interesting to me is kind of what we looked like in this game. Like our offense was so anemic compared to other weeks. It was so flat and so boring and so just blah. I'm trying to figure it out. And, you know, there was a quote last week where, you know, Lynn was talking about having to be more involved or whatever. Like as a head coach, when you're on the hot seat and it's your job on the line, do you just grab that team and just squeeze it more and get more of what you want into it? Because this felt like such a departure from what we've been doing and just running the ball so blindly in this game and being so conservative and just running the ball. This feels more like week one. And maybe week one, Lynn had a bit more. That was more of really how we wanted to come out of the gate swinging. And then it feels like this week he took back over that offense to me. Like what happens? Like I just, is that unfounded? Is that ridiculous to think?
No, not at all. I think if your job's on the line, you're going to want to be like, well, if I'm going to go out of here, I'm going to go out my way. So it's very possible that, yeah, he did pull the reins in a little bit on the play calling. Because yeah, I don't know. Like Shane Steichen's background is not a running game. Right. Who's he been a coordinator for? Was Phillip Rivers, who threw the ball 50 times a game. And then they bring in Justin Herbert to be a big time passer. So the running idea and scheme is Anthony Lynn's. That's his identity. So it did very much feel like week one, where it was just kind of like, we're in the game, but like, I don't have any confidence we're going to go out there and make a big play or anything, you know? So it did. So it's very possible that he went, hey, I'm not, this isn't feeling good. Like I need to start, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out my way. And maybe he did let the leash out a little bit on Steichen and be like, hey, we don't know what this kid's going to do. I'll give you some leeway to make some plays. And now he's like, oh crap. Nope. We're reining this thing in. It's very possible.
Yeah. It's sad.
It is.
If it keeps happening, if we keep running the ball like that, you just know that Lynn has taken over.
Yeah, but it's like he's grasping. right? Because our offense was great, but we're still losing football games. So he's trying to change something, I guess. It's just what he's changing is boring as crap to watch. Like, and it's obviously not effective.
What he changed was our ability to get ahead and have a powerful offense.
But he wanted to control the clock, and he wanted to to tire out their defense, and he wanted to play old school football. It didn't work.
But then it's also like the decision making, like right at the end of the first half, when there's enough time to take a shot down the field to try and do something, and they take a fucking knee.
Right. Well, I think it's also, it does, part of it may be that he was taking the reins back in a little bit, but you also look at the Miami defense. That was a good defense, man. They have two pretty shut down corners, and they can run man and pressure, and they did a really, really good job. So he was maybe playing a little too conservative, which I don't know how you play conservative when you're 2-6.
Right.
But yeah, that's just, and to me, what I'm coming to believe now is he doesn't trust Justin Herbert. He just flat out doesn't trust him yet for whatever reason.
So dumb.
It doesn't seem like you really trust him with the game on the line to go out there and make the plays, which from what we've seen, I don't know why you wouldn't. He must have something else that he knows or he's hearing that I don't get it. I think you ride or die with your boy. That's our franchise quarterback now. Right. So let's see what he can do in a 2-6 season.
It's the only thing to be excited about. It's the only thing that people are like grasping on, and still you can see a smile on their face when they're talking about Herbert. Like, so you pull that away too. Like at some point the head office has got to step in and be like, hey, this is going to be our franchise for a long time. You need to fucking stop right now.
You need to not give Kalen Ballage the ball 18 times.
Yeah, we don't need that. He was fine last week and we got excited about it. But when you can't get anything done on the ground, like you got to change it up, change something.
Oh, and I don't know if this is the right timing in our show, but dear Lord, Trey Turner, holy crap, what a nightmare that guy is.
Yeah.
You sit out the whole season. I know you're not going to come back at full go, but like getting personal foul penalties at your first game back.
You got to at least be serviceable.
Come on, man.
That's the thing for me as a fan, not really understanding a lot of it. It feels like that he's trying to force a run game that just isn't there. Like we have enough that we can get these little, 2, 3, 4 yard chunks, but that's not going to open up the passing game per se. Like you keep beating your head against the wall, expecting something to finally break, but the wall's still there. Like the wall's made of bricks and your head's made of your head. So it just felt like forcing a square peg in a round hole, and it just wasn't working, man. Like that's not what this is.
If you're going to do that running game stuff, the other two aspects of your team have to be like extraordinary. Right. You have to have an outrageous defense and at least serviceable special teams that's going to give you good field position.
Right.
We didn't have field position. Our defense played, they didn't play awful. They missed some opportunities that our linebackers, Kenneth Murray and Denzel Perryman, both had dropped just easy interceptions. But other than that, we gave up 169 yards passing. We gave up 111 yards rushing, but on 32 carries. So it's like, those aren't awful stats. Like that's better than what we have been doing. But you have to have shut down, lights out other aspects of your team if you're going to be a running team, which we do not have. We need our offense to score 30. If we would have scored our 30 points, we would have won the game. Like that's what we need.
Yeah. You can't maintain the clock. You can't try to run the clock when you're down. Like you run the clock when you're up. And that's kind of the opposite side of this, where it's like, you're trying to maintain time of possession when you're down. It's like, dude, you got to get points on the board. Like, let Herbert throw it, get it down there. But even Herbert seemed to not have that great of a game. I mean, there was a lot of missed passes, and it was just some general confusion. I thought there was some interesting quotes from Keenan Allen on different aspects, because it almost feels like he's also trying to play that game of not trying to blame everybody. From Gilbert Manzano, Keenan Allen just said, shit, it's been like this since I've been here. Pretty much the last 8 years, we lose a lot of close games. When we do have the lead, we still losing. And also talking about just the offense's performance versus the Dolphins. He said, I would say we were pretty confused out there.
And then coach came back right around and said, our guys were prepared. Like responding to that quote. Like,
Right.
what are you talking about? That doesn't line up, my
no,
friend.
but what also doesn't line up, and I just found interesting, there was a quote from tweet from Manzano. Keenan Allen said, it's unfair to put most of the blame on the Chargers coaching staff. He said players need to stop making undisciplined mistakes. So which is it, dude? Like, again, it's like there's issues everywhere.
He's being a politician on that. I
Yeah,
think
he's trying to be kind to his coaches, but that quote about him saying, I would say we were pretty confused out there, that was him off the cuff. Like, that was him not thinking, oh, this is going to look bad on the coaches. I think that's
he probably
his true
said
feeling.
that and was like, "Oh shit, I just said this. I got to walk this back and say our coaches were fine."
Yeah, I think that was a little bit telling, and it may go back to, hey, why are we running the ball 20 times a game when our top two running backs are down? Like, we're confused. What the hell is going on? Type of a thing. So yeah, that's the first time I've heard, because Keenan usually is that. Oh yeah, we can't blame the coaches. We're doing it. The other quote about him saying we lose close games, that's frustration, man. That's not good to hear from one of your leaders, one of your vets that's been on the team the longest.
A career's worth of frustration.
Yeah.
8 years.
Like that's stressful. And then also from Dan Popper talking to Justin Herbert, Herbert said running the ball frequently on early downs was the Chargers' game plan going into this game.
It just feels like a Lynn mandate, man. He drew it up, gave it to him, like, this is what you're going to do.
Right.
And that sucks, because that's not what brought us. Our success we've had so far this year has not been that.
That wasn't the spark for this team. The spark for this team was Justin Herbert, the quarterback, the guy that's breaking records, even in games that he's losing. The Chargers are 2-7, but still Justin Herbert is the first rookie in NFL history with at least 2 touchdown passes in 6 consecutive games. Ever.
Do you want to know some other fun stats? There's a couple other ones.
Please. Show me some positives.
I'm just going to riddle them off, because these are good things. Like, this is why you don't run the ball as much as you did.
Right.
And you're getting lots of pressure and it's really confusing, but this is what it was. So Justin Herbert, the most TD passes of 20 plus yards downfield through 10 games by a rookie QB. Justin's got 9. He's the most. Russell Wilson had 8 in 2012. Another crazy stat, going off what we were talking about with the run game. So who was it? Warren Sharp on Sharp Football said, "Someone saved Justin Herbert from the Chargers franchise!" Exclamation point. The Chargers have called 6 first down plays, 4 runs, 1.5 yards per carry, 2 passes, 14 yards per attempt. So that's kind of a striking difference in games.
Yeah, it's just you can't throw the ball on 3rd and 8. You do that, they're going to blitz 12 guys. Like, they're going to bring someone on from the sideline and they're going to get in your face.
I even know that. And I'm not a coach. I don't pretend to know, like, I can speak about football to the nth degree. I even know that.
Right.
Everyone knows that. You cannot be in 3rd and long situations and try to throw the football, and that's what we did. And Justin still had a decent game throwing, but he has these great numbers in the face of pressure because he has to. That's when he's throwing the ball. Like, let the guy throw it on first down. Then if you want to follow it up with a run, when it's maybe go pass run instead of run pass here.
Yeah,
that would be nice
to mix it up a little bit.
That would be nice.
Yeah, man. I don't know. We're still. It just feels like we're stuck in old school football when we have a Oregon Duck quarterback who's able to throw, and we should be throwing the ball a lot. Which that's. From my philosophy as a coach, that it's like weird to hear. It's weird for me to hear myself say that, because I am very much a conservative. Run the ball, throw when you can, and mix it up. Take some chances here and there, but control the clock and keep the ball out of the other team's hands. But that's not the Chargers anymore. That's not the NFL anymore. You got to score points. So you can't, unless you have one of the best backs in the league with an all Pro Bowl offensive line, which we have neither of.
No, and
you got to take chances, right? This is a LaDainian Tomlinson offense with a guy we just picked up off of waivers,
right?
Not nothing against them. He's good, but he's not the team. Like, he's not LT. You're not going to build your offense around him.
Exactly. Yeah, we desperately need our guys back from injuries. And, I'm not calling for any coaches to get fired, but should they? Kind of. It feels like it. If you have this kind of a season after 4+, we've had what? Lynn for 4 seasons now. Is that right? Because this is his first time as a head coach, right? With the Chargers?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was interim.
He had an interim for the Bills.
Okay.
But then he came over right after that interim season.
Right.
It's just that they're digressing. They're not improving. And that's not a trend that you want in anything. Football, stock market, whatever. You don't want to see that.
Right.
That's just, it's obvious. So I was the Lynn supporter at the beginning of the season, seeing what he's doing now, how he's not defending his guys anymore. I'm just getting really frustrated with him. So that's all I have to say about that.
That almost feels like a Desmond King kind of tweet, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When you throw
We're the whiny Magoos now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You've got a coach that's being a whiny Magoo. I don't know if Tommy T is going to like that.
Send him to Tennessee. I'm sure they'll take him.
So we'll see what happens. Time will tell. I still love this team. I still love the players.
Never gonna give you up.
I'm never gonna give you up.
Never gonna let you down.
They're gonna let me down.
You let me down, but I'm never gonna give up.
So let's look over to the injury report. Again, it sucks. Bosa's still out on concussion protocol. Like 2 games, man. Like it's weird because it was a play that he went down and nobody really saw it. They didn't make a big deal out of it. They didn't bring out the stretcher or anything like that. It was just later on in, what was the game? Was it
it was
Denver?
The Denver game.
Yeah, it was the Denver game.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was just like, oh yeah, by the way, Joey Bosa's not out there. Okay. Like, didn't see that. You didn't show it to us. And so now he's missed 2 games from concussion protocol. And like, I don't even know who hit him. It's just, it's frustrating, man.
It sucks, but at this point, I'm not, the season is what it is. His brain's kind of important.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I want to go ahead and you take an extra week if you need one,
honestly,
Joey, because this season's turned into a real shit show, and you getting scrambly up top doesn't help anybody.
No. And in fact, it wouldn't surprise me if they're like, giving him the test and he's like failing him on purpose because he doesn't want to go back out there.
He wouldn't do that, but I
3 plus 4.
Oh, come on.
14.
I know this.
Lynn's like sitting at his concussion protocol, like, you're feeling good, right? Old time football, right? You're feling better. Get out there. I need you to save my job.
I think I need another week,
and he's
coach.
Like, hey, Dad, I don't think we're going to do it this week.
Yeah.
If the Chargers could have pulled out a win in Denver, and maybe if they could have pulled out a win in Las Vegas, we might have seen Joey Bosa just kind of bite the bullet and come back. But what's the point? Like you said, it's just like, it's not like we're going to win out the rest of this season.
Well, and the same thing with Eckler. Like, I saw the video. Like, it's amazing what a difference a one Sunday makes. Like, seeing Austin, he posted, and this came out like the day after we finished our last episode. He put on Instagram, to all my fantasy owners that didn't drop me, the time draws near, and it shows him running his 40, and he looks fast as shit again. Don't know why you would bring him back right now.
Well,
there's no reason to rush him back into service when you just signed him on a contract to risk him. So it's just crazy. One Sunday, my whole perspective has shifted in terms of what I want for this team. I've kind of shifted into like more of like the bunker mode, where let's all get down underground and lock those doors and make sure no one gets hurt. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Blast from the past style will all come out. It'll be 2050.
Be ready to play some football.
All right. Who wants to toss the old pigskin around?
Madden football in the bunker.
Everybody should take their time coming back. Joey Bosa, Austin Eckler, Drew Tranquil. I know that there was rumblings that maybe Drew Tranquil could come back later in the season. What's the point? Like, Drewski.
Have a brewski, Drewski.
Back.
We don't need you to act right now.
Take it easy. Take some time in the spa. All right. Let's turn it over now to the coach to see if he can dissect something for us that maybe we just didn't see in that last game that can shine a little light on it. What do you got for us this week, Coach?
Not gonna do that.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I still didn't. It's Monday here. We're recording this. I wasn't ready to watch the game yet. I wasn't going to break down specific plays. What I kind of wanted to look at was of all the teams that we played some pretty good defenses. Why were the Dolphins able to shut us down so much? And I wanted to look at the structure of their defense. Everyone's kind of assuming that the Chargers will probably get a new coach here on the defensive side of the ball. That's kind of what everyone seems to, until this week, that's where everyone was calling for Gus's head. And now it's shifted to special teams a little bit. But in my opinion, I do think Gus will be gone. I was kind of surprised he came back this year just because I thought he would go somewhere else. But yeah, I think he'll be gone. So the idea and the structure behind our defense versus what the Dolphins do. So we run a 4-3 defense. So a lot of you guys listening probably know exactly what that means, but it's just a personnel. So the 4 indicates how many defensive linemen you have, and the 3 indicates how many linebackers you have. So a 4-3, 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers. That's what the Chargers run right now. It gives you a little bit more beef up front, so it's generally effective with stopping the run. But you're not very dynamic. You can only come from so many places. You have your 4 guys that are rushing already with their hand in the ground. And then if you blitz, you have to bring a 5th. So then you're playing some kind of modified coverage. What the Dolphins run, which is what a lot of teams go to stop the spread attack. So big passing teams, you see it a lot in college, is a 3-4. So there's 3 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers, or you'll even see like a 3-3-5 a lot of the times where there's 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. It just makes you a lot more athletic. You lose a little bit up front with the beef, obviously. You're not as physical, but you're a lot more dynamic, which is what a lot of people want to watch. It's more exciting because you have 3 defensive linemen, but if you rush 4 every play, that means 1 linebacker is blitzing every time. You're still only bringing 4. You still get to drop 7 in coverage, but you don't know where that 4th guy's coming from. So you can do a lot of stunts, a lot of exotic, different, weird blitzes, and still be you can be safe behind you. So it's just a different philosophy. And if you're a 4-3 coach, you run a 4-3. If you're a 3-3-5, 3-4 coach, you run that. It's kind of follows you as your philosophy. Gus is very much a 4-3 cover 3 guy. We all know that. You guys probably cringed as I said cover 3. But it's just an idea to think of as we start interviewing new coaches potentially at the end of the year, what our defense looks like. Man, to me, thinking of Linval Joseph in the middle at that nose guard with Bosa and Ingram playing our ends. And then you have just our plethora of linebackers with Kenneth Murray, Tranquil back, Nwosu, Perriman won't be back, but we have some, if we can stay healthy. And then you had Derwin James as that safety that can be dynamic. We're athletic if we're healthy. And it could be pretty exciting, fun to watch the way that you could blitz and bring different pressures and switch things up. So that's just something to think about. I saw it in the Dolphins, and man, they shut us down pretty effectively, even with us trying to run the ball 400 times. Even with that 3-man front, they were pretty effective at shutting it down. So yeah, just something to think about from an X's and O's perspective as you go. Everyone's out there probably right now like, who's going to be our next defensive coordinator? Something to think about. It might be fun to see a little bit something different next year.
And they were doing something crazy in this game too, where they were doing like no one was really set on the line. And it was just like crazy movement. And then you had no idea who was coming. And the one play I remember seeing them do that, they brought everybody.
Right.
And it was like, how do you as an offensive line address that? Right. I played offensive line in high school. Like that's too crazy.
Yeah. So that's what it does, right? Because you only have 3 guys with their hands in the ground. So you can walk 3 other guys up and they can be moving around. One of them's coming no matter what.
Yeah.
And you don't know which one. It could be all 3. It could be 1. It could be. Whereas with the Chargers, it's like, oh, yeah, you're going to blitz Kenneth Murray right now on first down. That's not. He's going to back out. Everyone's got here. You know what I mean? It's just a little dynamic.
And it was interesting what our defense was doing. It felt like we were blitzing a bit more this last week, but like we were never doing it at the right time. There was always some kind of secondary guy coming off the edge that would sneak up and rush, but he'd always be rushing from the side the ball wasn't on. Like every time we did some kind of exotic blitz or brought somebody else, we were just in the wrong place. It never worked.
We're not used to doing it. And I think that's the main issue. Like early on in the game, I saw Rayshon come up and blitz off the edge, but he just flew straight up field. He didn't take into account, I'm blitzing, but if it's a run, I can't just run past the ball carrier. And Ahmed, the Dolphins running back, cut right underneath, and no one even had to block Rayshon, and they were off to the races. They had a pretty big pickup. So you got to know what you're doing. Like you can't just blitz a DB and just hope they know how to do it. Rayshon's a free safety. Guy's never blitzed really probably in his career much. So he's not a Derwin James that's used to being down there in the box and has a nose for the football that while I'm blitzing, I can adjust. Oh, it's a run. I'm going to sit down and sink underneath and stay at the line of scrimmage. He's just like, coach told me to blitz. Oh, here we go. And so I think that's a little bit of a part of it is they're not used to it. They haven't done it much. So they're not going to go out there and be extremely effective in doing it.
Let me pose this question to you, Kyle, because it feels like, at least from a fan perspective, that there's no coach that's safe. Steichen, I guess, at least seems to be the most safe out of everybody. But again, anybody could go at this point. Next season, if it's a situation where we lose Anthony Lynn, we lose Gus Bradley, we lose George Stewart, can an entire new coaching staff have a chance at melding, or is there, I guess my point is, if we get a whole new coaching staff, can we expect great things, or can we expect a lot of we're still kind of learning business? Like how long of an effect does that take to solidify a potentially winning team?
Yeah, it obviously it depends on the coach, but most of the time a coach has his assistants. He already has his coordinators and they go as like a pack.
Right.
It's like this weird coaching world where you might coach under the same head coach your entire career because everywhere he goes, he knows you, he likes you, he's going to bring you. If Gus and Anthony Lynn go, I think it's not very likely that Steichen will stay because whoever they bring in as a head coach probably has a guy that he already likes.
Gotcha.
There's potential to because you have a young quarterback and they've already built a little bit of a relationship. So the new head coach may be like, this is probably best that we just keep some consistency here. But yeah, most of the time a head coach has his guys. He already has his, even down to his quality control guys. They have their squad and they move together. So that's usually how it goes. But yeah, so in that aspect, they have already gelled to some extent. But yeah, I never expect a first year coach to win a Super Bowl. It's not to say it's never happened. Kyle Shanahan did it last year with the Niners. I believe that that was his first year and he took them to the Super Bowl. So it's possible. But with the Chargers, I'm never going to expect that we're going to be just all world. So yeah, I don't, it's possible, but I don't know.
The interesting thing too about if we do get into a coaching situation is what's our biggest asset, the most exciting thing we have that coaches are going to look at and be like, oh, I can work with that. It's Herbert. So right. I'd imagine you're probably going to be looking at more offensive minded head coaches is what people, I'm sure they want to bring in people that can keep working with Herbert and build that up. So I think there is an element to where they'll lure that in and then they're not going to just hold on to Steichen. Like Steichen doesn't really have a track record other than the half a year last year and then what he's done this year. So, I think it's the fact that you have Herbert is what we have. Like you can count on that, So
yeah, and hopefully it just doesn't get so beaten this year that next year he just doesn't have the energy.
I'm not worried about that. People are talking about that. I'm not worried about that. Like you look at what he did at Oregon that first year. They were a bad team, and he turned that shit around. So I'm not worried about that aspect of it.
And I personally hope we hire a defensive-minded head coach. That's my hope.
I just don't think they will.
Still sticking with my injury-minded head coach. I think
that's
what we.
Yeah, I forgot. We're hiring a doctor.
Let's keep our eyes on the prize because if we can't stay healthy, then what's the point of having either? All right.
No coaches.
No coaches. All doctors.
Oh, how about that? Chargers first team in history. No coaches. Yeah. Herbert calls the plays.
It's just so crazy.
Derwin James calls the defense.
Phil retires. Phil comes back and he's the head coach.
Oh man,
guys, who do we blame? Who as fans? Who do you blame if there's no coaches? If it's just players,
we blame
out there
ourselves
going
for
at
following the Chargers if they don't have a coaching staff.
Do something so stupid.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Kyle, for Maybe not necessarily shining a light on the game, but at least shining a light on the coaching styles that are out there and what we could potentially see in this upcoming offseason as we're already looking at it, sitting at 2-7. But let's get out of Coach's Corner and let's take a drive down now towards Fan Focus. Who do we got this week, Kev?
Yeah, well, we had somebody reach out to Coach on Twitter, I believe, and we got to chat with him, and it was a good time. So let's roll it. All right, well, I am here with Dexter from Kentucky. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. This is so cool. We don't plan this, but I feel like 99% of the people we talk to are from other states, Charger fans from all over the country. So how did you become a Charger fan living out in Kentucky?
Okay, so growing up, my family didn't really watch football. So, a lot of people over here are Steelers or Titans or Colts or Bengals fans. And it just kind of, I was in middle school, I was playing football, and I didn't know anything about football. So I was like, I'm going to start watching a football game. And the first football game I ever watched was in 2006, and the Chargers were playing the Titans, and they put up like 40 points on the Titans. And I watched LT, and I was like, that's my team right there. So just ever since then, I've been a Chargers fan. And it's weird because I'm like, there's only maybe 2 other people in Kentucky I met that's Chargers fans. And every time I tell somebody, like, how'd you become a Chargers fan?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like it's just everyone we talk to is on this like little isolated island out in the middle of all these other fans. So it's kind of cool though. It shows like your true fandom to stick with the team, even when we're playing the way we have been the last couple of years and things aren't going our way. Well, I'm going to backtrack a little bit because that's interesting. So, you're a coach, you coach high school football. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I've been coaching for 3 years over here at Powell County High School. I started coaching because my wife's brother started playing. He's a very, very good athlete, and he didn't know anything about football. He was adopted out of Africa, and so they kind of wanted me to come in and coach him one-on-one. And I started off as an outside linebackers coach, and then I transitioned to DB coach this year.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. And my brother coach on our podcast, he was a D coordinator and a head coach. So I think that's cool. It's like it takes a certain kind of person to be a head coach and work with kids and do all that. So that's important. So, kind of tell us your thoughts on, the state of the Chargers for you and what you want to see happen.
Well, so if you've been a Chargers fan, this isn't necessarily new.
Yeah.
Like we're really good at playing well and just not finishing games. So realistically, I think at this point, whenever you keep doing this over and over, it kind of becomes part of our culture. You just kind of get used to it. And I feel like when that happens, that's when you need to bring a new coaching staff.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't want Coach Lynn to be fired right away because I think Justin Herbert, that would ruin a lot of things. But I think when the season's over, we should probably start looking at another head coach just because at this point, it's kind of becoming, a culture problem. It keeps happening over and over and over, no matter what we do, no matter what we change. It just keeps happening.
Yeah, well, and it's going to be kind of, if that position does come up, it's going to be a kind of favorable job. Like what coach wouldn't want to have Justin Herbert and a defense that could be with Derwin James and all the guys we have could be amazing. Like it's kind of like a great little piece of something to dangle in front of these coaches.
There's a lot of coaches that take jobs where they have to rebuild, and it's kind of like you're plugging in kind of your philosophy, your offense and defense, and then, you run with it. You already have all the pieces. You have the receivers, you have the tight end, you have a good running back, you have a good defense. I mean, there's not a whole lot of huge glaring needs that we need, and you got a franchise quarterback. So, I mean, for a head coaching job, it's probably the best you're going to get.
So, we still have a lot of season left. We still have a lot of games to play. Like, for me, it was like trying to figure out like what, when I'm watching these games, like really makes me happy. Like what a part, because that's what we kind of have to focus on now. We can't guarantee any of these wins. It's not going to happen. So what's something when you're watching a game that you're like, all right, even though we're kind of sucking, like this puts a smile on my face?
I mean, it's got to be Justin Herbert. Like, even though I'm from Kentucky, I'm an Oregon football fan as well. So
sweet.
Justin Herbert's my guy. You know what I mean? Like through and through. So like when I see how comfortable he is with Keenan Allen, I think that's so awesome because Keenan Allen's such a good receiver. And I feel like for Keenan to have a quarterback like Justin Herbert, I mean, it just shows how good that he is.
So, all right, cool. So let's wrap it up. We walk into a game next week that we should win this game versus the 0-9 Jets. Don't want to say we're going to, because you remember when we played the Browns and they hadn't won a game. So what are you hoping to see from a score on this game?
Honestly, I really want to see a low scoring game. I feel like all season, we've been trying to just like be in a shootout. I'd really like to see our defense step up and just shut them down. Just shut them down and keep them under 20 points.
I like it. All right, man. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. It was great talking to you, and bolt up, man.
Yep. Same to you.
Yeah. So he's an awesome guy, Daxton, and it's cool to hear his like coaching story and his, I guess his brother. It's a cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That is really cool. Thank you, Daxton. Appreciate it. All right. Now we look over to Ask Twitter. Try to bring some energy. Ask Twitter. You never go ask to Twitter. Let's bring some energy back into this. Starting it off with one of my favorites, Super Bolts 34, aka Super Bolts 28. Who has?
I know we've heard the reason behind it. It's just when you said that, it sounded funny.
Let's see. He's got a pin on his voice, so.
This is for Kyle. How about them coaches? Nothing personal, dude. Just having a little fun. Love you guys. Bye.
Was there a question mark in there? I didn't see that anywhere.
No,
so.
just throwing some shade at
Just
Kyle.
a jab.
He's just,
yeah, just a jab.
Just a little jab, I guess, in the voice of the Joker. So
I took it on the chin. It is what it is. Yeah, like I said, I'm doing my best to shed some light on the coach's perspective, but it's getting harder and harder to defend them.
I've turned on all the lights. I've got my flashlights, and I can't find shit. All right. Let's see. Next, we've got Simon Shum, aka Simon Shum 90, who's got a specific voice as well. You all know it. Hopefully, you love it.
I'm seriously confused about our game plan coming into Sunday. And I think Allen even admitted during today's interview that the players were confused. Why did Kalen Balazs getting so many touches? Why are we calling a draw when we are down 15 points? Why aren't we letting Herbie cook? Why?
I don't know Arnold. I really don't. I don't know Arnold from Hong Kong. Yeah, the Kalen Balazs with that many carries. Kev kind of alluded to it. I think that's a little bit of Lynn pushing for a run-heavy game. And I think everyone's confused why we're running when we have Justin Herbert, who's the rookie of the year, and back there ready to sling the ball around. Obviously, we didn't like the matchups. Didn't think we could get past their secondary. And we're hoping to be able to run the clock out. So, yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't think anyone does.
No, it's, yeah. I don't know. I got nothing, Simon.
I don't. Good question.
It's a great question. We have
Right.
no response for it. All right. Next, we've got Sad Chargers fan. Oh, man. I feel you, buddy. AKA ADM 4156 asks the question.
Why hasn't George Stewart been fired yet?
Why? This sounds like a little Stewie vibe. That's nice. I completely am on the same page with you. I cannot stand Stewart. Stewie?
That's the voice I should have.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh well.
Tomatoes.
Next week, Sad Chargers fan, remind me.
Based on Coach Lynn's response in the press conference, he doesn't think that he's doing anything wrong, and that's why he's not been fired.
That's a problem. That is a problem.
But that's why. He doesn't think that he's done anything wrong. So you're not going to fire your coordinator if you don't think he's done anything. So he's going to go down with that ship.
Well, and Stewart was like one of his mentors.
He coached him. He was one of his coaches, I think.
So it's kind of hard to put that out to pasture
for sure
and bail on him. So he's just going to go down with the ship, I guess. Lynn's, if he's locking into George Stewart and he's okay being the 32nd ranked special teams in the NFL, then all right, buddy, go for it.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I think if you hire somebody that's your mentor and you're in charge of them, like you're setting yourself up for an uncomfortable situation, and you either pull the trigger and do what needs to be done, or you go down with the ship, like you guys are saying. So it's an unfortunate year for the Chargers as a whole. And throwing this in the mix just makes it that much sadder. So thank you, sad Chargers fan, for reminding us how sad everything is right now. All right, Tyler Foffey, aka the Iowa Bolt Fan 54. I know that you've asked questions before. I can't remember what voice I've ever used for you, so you just get something random this week. I've never done this voice before, so this might sound terrible.
Can't wait.
But I've got one. There's one aspect of this voice that I really have down. The rest of it, I don't. So this could be really terrible.
That's the aspect that you have down really good.
I've got that down.
That opening laugh, I have it locked down.
Okay, take it back. Sorry, go again.
We all know our special team play is horrendous and was especially bad Sunday.
Does coach think this is more players blowing assignments and not containing on kickoffs?
Or is this a common theme, Stewart not getting the correct guys prepared and in the position to succeed?
Okay, bye.
That was Kevin's favorite movie growing up. I will say that's probably why. That's why he's losing his mind right now.
Oh my god!
Oh no!
Oh, the tequila scenery's on the bar doing tequila with the shoes. Oh, thank you, Adam. I needed that. I feel so much better now. Oh, I needed a good laugh. Thank
we all
you.
did, dude.
Oh, Tyler Foffey. I honestly wasn't even listening.
No, I
got to
reread this question. Okay,
but if you do it in that voice again, I won't be able to take it.
Just for the sake of knowing what we're talking about, we all know our special team play is horrendous and was especially bad Sunday. Does coach think this is more players blowing assignments and not containing on punt and kickoffs, or is the common theme Stewart not getting the correct guys prepared and in the position to succeed?
So I have a question, and this might be just ridiculous, but 2 weeks
You're
in a row.
answering a question with the question?
Yeah, it's a question, but it's related to what he's saying. So Cole Mazza, our long snapper, he did two things back-to-back games. He did the same thing in back-to-back games where he did this kind of, we were in desperate situations both times, and he was snapping, and he'd like make a move to like kind of readjust the ball, and we'd get an offsides penalty on ourselves 2 games back-to-back. But what was so odd and weird about him is that we were in desperate situations. It wasn't like a normal thing. I'm wondering if he's coaching him up to try and do this kind of shit, to draw them off sides. And if so, what is wrong with you? Like, I don't understand the concept of this like sneaky
what's
cheating.
The lose? What do you lose? 5 yards? What do you win if he draws? Yeah, it's a 5-yard offside, false start.
But it's if you're gonna do it, okay. But if you need to practice it and you need to execute it. It's so obvious that what he was doing, it didn't feel practiced or rehearsed or walked through whatsoever.
Honestly, we don't even know if that's the case, though. We don't know that he may have just been.
It's too obvious for me, and to be similar situations where we're really far back in a desperate situation, and Cole Mazza does the same thing. I don't. When was the last time you saw a punter do this? Period. Let alone 2 games back to back.
You mean the long snapper, right?
That's what I meant. Long snapper.
Yeah.
My apologies.
So he may have been looking up to see. Oh wait, this guy. This is who I'm running with, or
it wasn't that. It wasn't that.
Okay.
I went back and looked at it. I'm just telling you, it wasn't that. It was too distinctly the same thing that he did last week.
Okay, distinctly. Wait.
You
what if?
You're making me mad. I almost like it. Don't you try and pump me down.
What if it works? What if it works? What do you get, a first down? If it doesn't work, you lose 5 yards and you're already punting. What's the risk?
I'm pointing to the ridiculousness of the plan that we're grasping
if
for
straws. If it would have worked, you would have said he was a genius.
But he didn't work last week. Why the?
But it didn't work. So now we all are mad at him.
Dude,
you're nitpicking.
You need to stop defending coaches. I know you like doing it, but I'm fucking had enough. I am nitpicking because it's bullshit, and I'm tired of it.
If it would have worked, he's a genius.
He's not a genius. He would never have been a genius. There's so much to overcome to become a genius. No, he's useless.
You wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know shit.
That's my contribution to the conversation.
Just cut all this out. Just
Adam just
leave your
sits back.
voice, and we'll just
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, it's the coach's responsibility to get these guys prepared, know their strengths, know their weaknesses, and have them play to the best of their ability. And I don't know.
But why do you? And also another one. Why do you take the ball out of the end zone for like a 9-yard gain? Aren't you the guy saying, why are we even returning these kicks at all? Like there's just the stuff that's happening. And then like, what was it? Was it KJ Hill who went out and he's so scared to fair catch a ball after last week. Like there's just so many fundamental problems with our special teams, and how hard is Stewart on these guys to make them scared to have a fair catch? Like, we're grasping at air, and I'm trying to come up with ideas, but it's obvious that there's issues, big time issues.
And I'm not saying that there's not. I'm just saying that your aspect of this drawing people offside thing, that's not the biggest issue.
It's not, but it's an issue that was like obvious that it's happened back-to-back weeks, and it didn't work the first time. And it was so obvious that it wasn't going to work the second time.
Kevin.
Kyle.
Adam.
Kyle.
What does Garrett Brock have to say?
Jeez, we're going to calm down. Now we got to look over to Garrett Brock, a.k.a. GM Brock 2012, who asked the question,
What should be the goal for the rest of the season? With the playoffs basically impossible, should just be about developing young talent or trying to win as many games as possible?
I like winning football games, but I think at this point you need to just get our guys prepared for next year. You got to get Herbert get him all the looks, get him as many things as he needs to be ready. And try not to destroy his confidence.
You only tank if you need a franchise quarterback. That's why you tank, because you want the first pick overall so you can get the best quarterback in the draft. We already have ours, so tanking, picking 4th versus picking 7th, you're still getting a stud.
Right.
So I don't really think that we tank and lose on purpose. The goal of the season for me is don't lose to the Jets. As long as we don't lose to the Jets and we beat, and I just want to beat our AFC West opponents. Right. I'm so sick and tired of losing to the Raiders, the Chiefs, and the Broncos. I'm just so sick of it. I want to beat some AFC West teams. And obviously I want the young guys to have some snaps under their belt for next year when there are backups and we need them. So they're a little bit more prepared.
Right. I still want us to win games, and specifically AFC West games. I want us to be the ones that upset some team from making the playoffs, because we were expected to lose and we come out and win, and now all of a sudden the Raiders are out of playoff contention or something silly like that. Like, that's what I want to see.
We're the spoilers.
I want us to now spoil it for everybody else that we possibly can. Because if we're going down, I'm taking you all with me.
Yep. Let's go get some other coaches fired. You think we can get Gruden fired if we beat them that bad?
Doubt it, but that'd be cool.
Doubt it, but that would be cool. All right, now to finish up our Ask Twitter, we get our old favorite, Craig from Texas.
Hey, fellas. Craig in Texas. Just felt that the Undertaker theme music is befitting. This season's done. It's time to bury it. Got to start looking forward at this point. I'm not even sure what we do the rest of the year. I do know there are probably going to be some wholesale changes come year's end. There's so much blame to go around. We're going to look at the special teams, can talk about defense, talk about questionable offensive play calling. Everybody's at fault. Nobody's above reproach. That being said, really would love to know what you guys think about what we do moving forward for the rest of the year. What do you care about? What's important to you? For me, same as last week. Looking at guys giving effort, playing their behinds off, and showing that they want to stick around. Other than that, kind of hard to find the silver lining. There's always Herbert, though, right? Let's get him another week of Rookie of the Week. Let's win at something. All right, fellas. Later on, Bo Ganger don't bang. Peace.
I love the Undertaker thing is
nice.
awesome. But doesn't the Undertaker come back from the dead? So is it I think he's saying that we're going to get into the playoffs, is what I'm hearing correctly.
Based on his tone, I don't think that's what he's
Based off
saying.
the rest of his
Just
message,
kidding.
I don't think so. I thought it was, I was
kidding.
expecting some Hell's Bells, like some Trevor Hoffman, like bring in the relief.
Yeah,
bring in the guy
closer,
to finish this out. But no, that wasn't the case. But it was that was great. I love the theatrics there, Craig. Thank you.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've already kind of touched on it, but I think the expectation now is just to see the guys play their butts off. I mean, when we saw Denzel Perryman getting fired up out there on the field, like that was exciting.
I had fun with that.
A lot of fun with that. Like that shows a guy that wants to be here and wants to still play hard, even though there might not be any energy anywhere else. He still wants to be here.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to see is you're going to see the guys that love to play football and the guys that need contracts, right? And what I want personally is I want something to be excited for going into next year. It's a long off season. I want something to be excited for. Be like, okay, next year we got a shot, and obviously be like, yeah, if we stay healthy. And Justin Herbert, obviously, like you said, he's exciting. He's fun to watch. So I think we'll have that. But I just want to play some good football, like not blow big leads and not just come out and run the ball 400 times. Like that's just not going to do anything. Like, so yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
Yep. Let's keep it exciting.
Yeah. Same kind of thing for me. I just love watching Herbert. So him slinging it, crazy passes, just fun to watch, develop him more, but I just love watching him play. So that's what I can get excited for every week. And that's what I'm looking for.
Excellent. Thank you, Craig. Thank you to everybody that reached out on Ask Twitter. Appreciate it. All right, let's look at this titan of a team we're going up against next week. It's the 0-9 Jets.
Don't jinx us.
Don't jinx us.
So
Do
well.
not
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't you do that to us.
Man. All right. Well, as we already know, Sam Darnold has already been ruled out. Apparently, Joe Flacco is going to be getting the start for the Jets.
Old man Flacco.
Do we know why Sam Darnold is ruled out? Did he get injured?
Okay. Yeah, I think it's injury. Hurt. So, but what do we know with Flacco? We know that if we can get Joey Bosa back, Flacco is basically a Phil Rivers. He's a pocket passer. You're not going to have to worry about him running. You're not going to worry about any of that. So if we can get pressure, we can blitz, we can get creative and have a more fun defense. I think that's a recipe for winning this.
Where do you think that's coming from?
What?
Where's that magical defense going to show up from?
I'm just saying blitz.
Hoping. Yeah.
Blitz. You're not having to worry about containing him. He's just don't let him run up the middle and gain a couple yards. Crush him, destroy him, just crush, just do something.
Crush him.
Just crush him. The lament of his women. Well, I can't remember what the quote was or something like that.
Crush your enemies, have their women driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women.
Yeah, that's what we need on Sunday.
Take two, Arnold.
Yeah. So their leading rusher, Frank Gore, has been around since Justin Herbert was alive. I think he's been in the NFL longer than Justin Herbert's been on the planet.
I hope that's a fun stat they bring up during the game. All right. What else do we know about these Jets? What's this point differential? What do you got here?
I think that I looked it up. The point differential is interesting. The Jets have only scored 121 points, which is the lowest in the league, and they've allowed 268 points against them, which is some of the highest in the league. The Chargers differential, we've scored 226 points, so more than 100 points more, and points against we're about the same, about 245. So. Just score. Yeah. We'll be okay because these guys can't score.
Yeah, they're coming off a bye week. Don't know what that means. I never know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It kind of depends on the team. They are coming off a bye week, so maybe getting a little bit healthy. I know their injury report is pretty extensive. So you never know if they might get a couple guys back. They played New England pretty tough in their last game. They went down 30-27, and New England looked pretty darn good this week against Baltimore. So I don't know, man. I don't overlook any team. We have lost to winless teams like the Browns a couple years ago. So I'm not overlooking anyone. Hopefully we come out and we play a complete football game. I want to see three phases of football from the Chargers. That's the hope.
At least 2.5. guarantee special teams.
Live in hope and die in despair. That's the Charger way.
Who knows what he's gonna have his long snapper doing?
I don't know. Mazza.
We'll see what he's got next week.
Is he tap dancing out there? All right. Now we got to look to our bolt predictions. What do you got this week, Coach?
I don't know, guys. I don't know how to do these bolt predictions anymore. We're never close. It's not even like my bolt prediction didn't even play. I had Bosa with sacks.
Yeah, both of you were dead out of the gate.
We screwed
Good golly. I'm going to go for like a realistic point projection here.
Nothing wrong with realistic.
I'm going to go 24-17 Chargers. And I'm going to say that I'm going to say we throw the ball at least 30 times. That's my bolt prediction. At least 30 pass attempts.
That's unique. I like that. We haven't really had one of those kind of bolt predictions before.
Just trying to anticipate some play calling, make some adjustments, and throw the ball a little bit this game.
I like it. Yeah, that would be nice to see more pass attempts than runs attempted. All right. What do you got? Huggin.
28-17. 3 Flacco sacks just from our defense. No one in particular, because I don't know who's playing. So I'm just going to say 3 sacks.
I'm tired of calling out names. Because I don't know who's going to be out there.
Yeah. I'd like to be in the game this week.
Yeah, that would be nice.
What about you, Bulldog?
That would be nice. I don't care. I'm going to get bold. I'm going to say 21-0.
Ooh,
nice.
I'm going to say 21-0
with our defense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say 21-0. And my bolt prediction is Perryman's going to make up for this last game, and he's going to get himself an interception.
Ooh, I like that. That's bold.
Well, you're our interception guy. I was looking back through these. You're the INT professor.
Because it would just be great to call it. I want to see Perryman get an interception. So he was so close to this last game, and he's really, besides like Herbert and our main playmakers, is like the one guy that has like the most fire out there. So I see him wanting it, and I see him getting it. That's what I see.
I like it.
All right. Okay, well, that's going to do it for us here at Charger Chat. If you stuck around this far, we appreciate it. Thank you for all of you that stick around with us and listen to us jabber and make funny voices and noises and laughs. And hopefully you're laughing along with us. And because, this season, what else do you have to do but laugh at this point? Yeah, so don't forget to bolt up because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye. But this is also episode 55, so I wanted to do a remembrance of the late great Junior Seau. Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye. I was about to do a Pee Wee Herman laugh, but I guess I can't because that would be disrespectful to Junior Seau.
Yeah, don't do it.
Love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.
Don't you do it.
Don't do it.
Don't you do it.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hey, long snappers! Are you looking for a way to get your defense to jump off sides but can't figure out what to do? Then you need to sign up for Cole Mazza's 101 Long Snapper Tips and Tricks. Cole Mazza himself will teach you all the sneaky tricks to distract your defense to jump off sides. Learn such patented moves like moving the ball, Pee Wee Herman impressions, you got something on your shirt, and my personal favorite, look out! There's something behind you! So call now to sign up for a class with Cole Mazza to teach you Cole Mazza's 101 Long Snapper Tips and Tricks. George Stewart not included.